Thank you, Les. Good morning, everyone. I'm Regina Pugh. I am your worship associate for today's service. Welcome to Heritage Universalist Unitarian Church, and hello and welcome to anyone watching out in the Great Hall and to all of those who have joined us virtually on Zoom today. If you're here in the sanctuary, you may notice we have some lovely flowers up here today, which is a little unusual for us. These are from Chetnalipa's memorial service, which was held here in our sanctuary on Friday, and we get to enjoy their beauty this morning. If you are a newcomer to us today, either here in person or on Zoom, I invite you to sign the guest book here in the sanctuary. It is on our welcome table in the back. You can also find that link to our virtual guest book in Zoom chat. If it is not there already, it will probably appear soon. And all week long, you can find that link along with a wealth of other information about our church and upcoming events on our church website, which is huuc.net. Also on our guest table is a book where you can write a request for a candle to be lit in honor of a special joy or sorrow, and those will be shared later in today's service. If anyone has questions about Heritage or would like a tour, a member of our board of directors, Michael Wilhite, I believe is the one today, will be available after the service to speak with you. I ask you to turn off your cell phones so they don't interfere with our worship. Sorry? No? No, actually, apparently you should leave them on today. Now I know, and I remember why. Go ahead, please, do leave them on. But perhaps put them on silent, is that okay? That's a good idea, all right. We do ask that you do wear your mask at all times while you are in the building and be mindful of social distancing and mindful of others' preferences about personal contact, such as hugging or handshakes. If you have a little time after today's service, you're invited to share a few thoughts on video in the Heritage Room about what Heritage Church means to you. It will be quick, painless, and fun. And speaking of fun, today's service is all about fun. Let go of the expectations about how church usually goes or is supposed to be, and just go with the flow. This is an intergenerational service, which means children and youth will stay in the sanctuary with us, so a fun time will be had by all. You can start by noticing the fun, by noticing the Mad Lib that is in the back of the order of service. Those of you on Zoom who also subscribe to our email list should have received a copy of the order yesterday. You can look for that Mad Lib, and you are not only welcome to fill those out during the service today, but you're encouraged to use elements of the service to choose your answers. And Lacey requests that you take a picture of your completed Mad Lib and send it to her or post it to our Facebook group. Those addresses are included in the instructions. So there's a lot in store today, so let's get started by welcoming Reverend Bill Gupton for this morning's call to worship.
The call to worship today is from Howard Zinn. To be hopeful in bad times is not foolishly romantic. It is instead based on the undeniable fact that human history is a history not just of cruelty, but more so of compassion, courage, kindness. What we choose to emphasize, to focus on, will determine the course of our lives. When we see only the worst, we lose our capacity for action. But if we remember all those times and places, and there are so many, when people have behaved magnificently, we find the energy and the courage to act. We are renewed, and that creates the possibility of sending this spinning top of a world in a different direction. My friends, let us hold that thought in our hearts today. Come, let us worship together. Okay, don't be afraid of some change. That little pause there was some change because there are people worshiping with us in a different time zone than we are in the sanctuary. The time difference seems to be about 5 seconds. Another way you can not be afraid of some change is to sing about it. We haven't sung this song in a while. It's number 361 in your hymnal. I invite you to rise and sing with me whenever and wherever you are. Number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In.
Covenant. We are going to do that in the fashion that we do for our all ages services, which means I will say a line and sign, and you will say a line and sign. Does everyone understand? Yes? All right. By this covenant, we affirm that love is the spirit of this church.
Love is the spirit of this church.
The quest for truth is its sacrament.
The quest for truth is its sacrament.
And service is its prayer.
And service is its prayer.
To dwell together in peace.
To dwell together in peace.
And to seek knowledge in freedom.
And to seek knowledge in freedom.
To serve humankind in fellowship.
To serve humankind in fellowship.
To the end that all souls grow into harmony with the divine.
To the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine.
Thus we covenant with each other.
Thus we covenant with each other.
And with God.
And with God.
Thank you, Lacey. I got to introduce you first, Bob. At some point this winter, maybe it was a particularly dark or cold or snowy day, or maybe it was after something especially bad had been reported on the news, or maybe it was all of the above, someone in the sanctuary today, I'm not going to name names, lamented to me that they'd love to see a Sunday service where we just had fun, where we didn't focus on the ills of the world around us, but instead on joy. Point taken. To quote William Wordsworth for the second straight week, no less, the world is too much with us. We are all, each of us, exhausted, drained, running on empty, to quote Jackson Brown. So let's fill our tanks this morning. Today, by popular demand, and just because we need it, we want to offer you a different kind of service. Sure, this hour might be structured more or less like a normal Sunday morning, but what you will see and hear and do will hopefully be unusual enough to fill your cup, fill your tank, warm your heart. We hope you will leave Heritage today with a bit more bounce in your step, a bit of a smile on your face, and a bit of a lift in your heart. And with that in mind, here's Bob Lamb.
While Lester is getting set up here, introduce the song. This is by one of my musical heroes, Roger Miller. And that's not the Roger Miller who is a member of this church, although he is also one of my musical heroes, but he's much too young to have written this song. This particular song expresses my personal philosophy of life, and I would like to point out that the answer to the third question on the Mad Lib is roller skate. Play those chords, Lester. You can't roller skate in a buffalo herd. You can't roller skate in a buffalo herd. You can't roller skate in a buffalo herd. But you can be happy if you've a mind to. Can't take a shower in a parakeet cage. Can't take a shower in a parakeet cage. You can't take a shower in a parakeet cage. You can be happy if you've a mind to. All you gotta do is put your mind to it. Knuckle down, buckle down, do it, do it, do it. Well, you can't go swimming in a baseball pool. Can't go swimming in a baseball pool. You can't go swimming in a baseball pool. But you can be happy if you've a mind to. Da 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 doom doom da. Do da do da do da do da do da diddle diddle. Da 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 boom boom ba. Do da do da do da do da doom 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 doom. Can't change a diaper with a kid on your back. Can't change a diaper with a kid on your back. You can't change a diaper with a kid on your back. But you can be happy if you've a mind to. Can't drive to church with a tiger in your car. Can't drive to church with a tiger in your car. You can't drive to church with a tiger in your car. But you can be happy if you've a mind to. All you gotta do is put your mind to it. Knuckle down, buckle down, do it, do it, do it. Well, you can't go fishing in a watermelon patch. You can't go fishing in a watermelon patch. You can't go fishing in a watermelon patch. But you can be happy if you've a mind to. You can't roller skate in a buffalo herd. You can't roller skate in a buffalo herd. You can't roller skate in a buffalo herd.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Bob Lamb. His email address may say Bob Lamb too, but there's only one. And I think he set the tone for what we're trying to do here today. Have a little bit of fun. And now our resident church magician and seminarian Bill Lyon has whipped up something special for us. In church, we often talk about the mystery, so give us some mystery, Bill.
Mystery, mystery. Wow, I love being back in church. How about you? Yeah. It's just an invitation if they want to, but if any younger folks want to come closer to see a magic trick, they can. And if they don't, that's okay too. So, come on, right down there would be good. Maybe. There you go. That's perfect. You can sit down or stand up, whatever you like. We're a pretty free church here, right? So I'm celebrating being back in the sanctuary with you, looking at folks in the eye, and on Zoom. I still see you there on Zoom. And I wanted to share with you the image I have of our church. And that is amazing individuals who come together to build community in beautiful ways. Isn't that about right? So I'm going to use these 8 solid steel rings of mine to represent us. And maybe the 80 people or so who are gathered here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rings, right? Right. And what I know is although we are individuals, we all come from our own paths. We are unique. We have our own history, our own identities. But there's a verse in the Bible, I think it's from Matthew, that says, whenever 2 or 3 are gathered, right? So magic happens. You can start to see it. You see the magic happening? Oh my gosh, the magic is, oh my gosh! Would you be willing to hold these for me? Okay, thank you. Perfect. Yeah, magic happens. Well, that's not true. Magic is really an illusion. Magic didn't happen, but there are some magical people that I've met over time. And I want to tell you about a couple of them. One of them was a man named Jim Crocker Lackness. And I see some nods of folks remember Jim. Have you ever been your first time at church? Some of you are here for your first time at church right now. In the old days, right after church in the sanctuary, you'd head out that door there and have this question. Do we go right into the fellowship hall, or do I go left back to the parking lot? Or in Zoom, you have that decision, do I go on in one of the small rooms and maybe meet somebody who's going to be a great new friend, or do I just exit? Well, I was at that moment. And Jim Crocker Lackness came by and gave me the warmest handshake I've ever felt. Just one individual coming into my life and said, hey, let's go to the coffee hour. And bang. Just like that, we formed a bond that has lasted, and I think will last even beyond his lifetime. He passed away just 2 months ago. Could you hold this one for me? How about you? That'd be great. Thank you. So that's one of my magical people. There's another magical person that I remember, and some of you will remember her as well. Her name was Connie Booth. So Connie Booth had this way of connecting people in magical ways. For example, I believe that I was the only single male in this church at the time. 30-some years ago. And Connie decided that had to change. And Barb and I are forever grateful for that, right? Could I borrow my 3 rings back again, please? Thank you so much. Wow. So, and maybe the 2 rings too? Because as beautiful as each of those individual relationships are, what's really magical is when we put it all together. And don't you just love it when you look around and you see how beautiful we are as a congregation, and don't you wish it would never, ever change? But it changes. It changes shape as people come, as people go, as pandemics come and pandemics go. And still we find ways to be together in community. And that's because we started with great individuals. How about you holding this one this time? Oh, yeah. I find it challenging when a couple moves away. How about you? Or family moves away. But fortunately, some of them are finding ways to stay connected with us through Zoom. How about you, young man? Would you hold that for me? And then there are those times that have been especially painful, and I alluded to them earlier, right? Saying goodbye to people. We said goodbye to Chet just 2 days ago. And as difficult as to say goodbye, I know that those people, because the effect they had on each of us, they still ring through the halls of Heritage. Yeah. Yeah. How about you hold that one? How about you haven't hold one? Thank you. No matter what we do, no matter who we are, no matter how we go, we can find beauty in so many different ways. So many different ways. We can see it this way, we can see it this way, we can see it this way. We can even see that we found ways to stay in touch with people across the other side of the world. And we've also found ways to let new relationships blossom, even in times of pandemic. Because we are a community, aren't we? What I also know about community, and maybe you haven't noticed this, but loving families, everything always goes smoothly. Always. Could I borrow those back? Anybody ever been on the board or on a committee and think I might not be telling the truth right now? Life is hard. And people who care about their faith community, care about one another, they sometimes disagree. So as much as I like to tell you that everything's hunky-dory, it's not. Get it? It's not. You see what I did there? Yeah, it's still kind of messy from time to time. But if we can, even when we disagree, we can stay in community. We can remember that love is the spirit of this church. Remember that? And we can disagree with respect and love and our UU values. It is amazing how we can smooth things out and stay together in community. Even though we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 80 individuals, wonder individuals in a community that I am so proud to call mine. Thank you. Thank you.
Bill Lyon for the win. So we're now going to shift from magic to soup. Chicken Soup for the Soul. There's a series of books now totaling more than 250 that started in 1993 with a New York Times bestseller and has offered millions of readers uplifting stories of every imaginable subject. The story I'm about to share comes from an edition titled Chicken Soup for the Laughing Soul and is told by Linda Welsh. It seems that Linda, who lives on the West Coast, was on her way to a conference called The Positive Power of Humor and Creativity, put on by an organization called the Humor Project, and she decided she would put her creativity and humor to work even before she got to the conference. Here's her story. I very seldom seem to have a good enough reason to justify a trip to the East Coast, and when I do make such a trip, it's usually for business and doesn't allow for visiting old friends. I should say I had never had a valid reason before until I heard about this humor conference, when I realized I would also be able to spend some time with my dear friend Ann, who lives in New Hampshire. Ann and I were great buddies and used to teach together when she still lived in California. After she got married, she moved back to her New England roots, and although we have stayed in contact, we have not seen each other for 15 years. All the arrangements were made for my side trip. Anna and her husband were going to pick me up in Manchester, New Hampshire at the airport, and I told her I'd be coming from a humor conference, and I would have gotten access to the appropriate props. So to help her recognize me, I would get off the plane wearing a red clown nose. What Ann did not know is that I had bought a bag of 12 clown noses at the conference. The plane to Manchester was a puddle jumper that only held 40 passengers. Just before the landing, I had a conversation with the flight attendant, and this was what she made as an announcement over the PA system. Ladies and gentlemen, may I please have your attention? We have a funny person on board with us today. Her name is Linda. Linda's an MD. That stands for Doctor of Mirth. She's flying to meet an old friend named Ann. They haven't seen each other for over 15 years. Linda told Ann that she would be wearing a clown nose so that Ann could recognize her in the crowd. Linda has some extra clown noses with her, and if anyone would like to help her play a joke on Ann, she would be happy to give you a nose to wear as you disembark. Hands went up all over the plane, and the joke was set in motion. I stood by the exit as people were getting off the plane, handing them clown noses and thanking them. All the passengers were having a great time, and I exited last. Ann had no idea what was about to hit her. The first woman off the plane was wearing a hat pulled down low and sunglasses and a bright red clown nose. She and I were about the same height and weight, and when that passenger came into view, Ann started jumping up and down, waving her arms and yelling, "Linda, Linda, over here." Then Ann turned to her husband and said, "Oh my God, I can't believe she actually wore a clown nose." Passenger number 1 ran over to Ann, grabbed her, and they gave each other a big hug. When Ann stepped back, passenger number 1 whipped off her sunglasses and flashed a big gotcha smile. Ann's eyes flew wide open, her jaw dropped, and she said, "You're not Linda." But before Ann had any time to recover, a gentleman passenger wearing a red clown nose grabbed her in a big bear hug and said, "Hi, Ann, I'm Linda." Not. The parade of false Lindas continued for 11 more passengers. When I finally appeared, Ann was crying tears of laughter, and she was loving every minute of it. We greeted each other with hugs, this time for real. She stepped away to take another look at me, probably to verify once more that she was finally hugging the real Linda. We hugged again, and then I heard it. Applause. We turned to look, and there, standing in a big wide semicircle, were all of the passengers and everybody else in the airport standing, giving us a standing ovation. And the sea of faces was dotted with some red clown noses. It's not that hard to make people laugh. It's not that hard to make people smile. It's not that hard to make people's day. You really just got to put your mind to it. And be silly sometimes, too. I expect that might be a good segue to the next portion of our service.
What I'm about to say might come to many of you as a surprise. Tuesday is Mardi Gras. How can that possibly be? It actually catches me by surprise every year, Mardi Gras does. I grew up in South Louisiana, as many of you know, a place where Mardi Gras is serious business. The season between Epiphany and Mardi Gras is also serious business at home, marked in part by the elusive emergence of the king cake, something that is only available for a very short time in Louisiana at most places, because that's king cake season, and the having and the baking and the buying of king cakes is a huge deal, and one of which we have already purchased 2 king cakes this year, and this week, early this week, I will be making king cake at home, as I have done since Ben was born, so that he can experience what it is to be sort of Cajun in the far-flung region of Ohio. Needless to say, celebrating Mardi Gras is not the same here as it is at home. At home, no one will go to school tomorrow, or the following day, or the following day. So we don't have that experience. But I wanted to bring you a little piece of Mardi Gras for this part of our service, and to encourage you as we do, to sort of, as we're about to do, to sort of stand and dance a bit. We often think of the sacred as something very serious, and it is. Touching something infinite and full of awe is a profoundly, and can be a profoundly serious experience. But it can also be a profoundly fun and moving and energizing experience. And that is one of the things that Mardi Gras has taught me through most of my life, that even the most serious of things can be a whole lot of fun. So we are going to, there is, if you had to pick, most people, if you had to pick one song to hear or dance to or experience during Mardi Gras, the one that most often tops everyone's list is the Mardi Gras Mambo. And so we have a video of the Mardi Gras Mambo. It is about 2 minutes. And I'm going to encourage you to stand up and dance for this 2 minutes, to sort of experience a moment of movement and fun and energy and excitement, because the things that are the most powerful in the world can also be all of those things. So, there might be the 5-second delay, but stand and get ready to dance.
Gotta do all this that I'm doing.
out of breath. Okay.
Loosen up your body now, loosen up this.
So movement and dance and fun inspired today's choice of our outreach offering, Q Kids. Some of you may remember we did donate to them back in January of 2021, and they are such a marvelous organization, they deserve our continued attention and support. Q Kids Studio is located on Lynn Street in the west end of Cincinnati. It was founded 41 years ago by Markeisha Jones Woods. The violence in the surrounding housing projects at the time led her to look for something the neighborhood kids could do after school to keep them safe and productive. Miss Jones Woods, who's known as Miss Creasy by the dancers, still runs the program, which not only offers multiple styles of dance instruction, but also provides educational programs focused on drug prevention, wellness, and enrichment to encourage lifelong learning and a goal of higher education. The last 2 years, of course, have been challenging to them, but they are working to stay open, stay active, and get back to traveling to competitions and bookings to give the dancers a chance to set and accomplish goals and expand their horizons beyond Cincinnati. A few of the dancers recently got to make a video with Bootsy Collins celebrating the Bengals' advancement to the Super Bowl. And a team of the dancers traveled to LA to perform throughout the city during the Super Bowl weekend festivities, shining a light on their talent and representing Cincinnati. The true chance of a lifetime for those girls. We can support this hometown gem through our communal offering today. Those of you watching online can donate at qkids.org or find the link all this week on our church homepage. Again, that is huuc.net. As we pass the plates in the sanctuary, we're going to enjoy some footage from Q Kids' participation in the 2019 Blink Parade and some music from the incomparable Beyonce. The morning's offering will be gratefully received.
Who won the world, girls? Who won the world, girls? Who won the world, girls?
Thank you for your gift and your support.
Tell me the tales that to me were so dear, long, long ago, long, long ago. Sing me the songs I delighted to hear, long, long ago, long ago. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on that farm he had a dog. And Bingo was his name, oh, B-I-N-G-O, 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 and Bingo was his name. Oh, the Camptown ladies sing this song, doo-dah, doo-dah. Camptown races 5 miles long, oh, doo-dah day. Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree, how lovely are your branches. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind, when the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in, when the saints go marching in the cavern, in the canyon, excavating for a mine. Drop my dolly in the dirt. I asked my dolly if it hurt, but all my dolly said to me was whack, 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 whack. This old man, he played knick-knack on his drum with a knick-knack, paddywhack, him a down the road. This old man came rolling home. Oh, home on the range, where the deer and the antelope play. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, la 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 la. Anchors aweigh, my boys, anchors aweigh. Gently down the stream, merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. We're going to leave you now. Tell me the tales that to me were so dear, long, long ago, long, long ago. Sing me the songs I delighted to hear, long, long ago, long ago. We learned these songs so very long ago, but this is not the way they really go. So if you want to know just how they ought to sound, you might find out if you decide to stick around. We learned these songs so very long ago, but this is not the way they really go. Hallelujah, hallelujah, we sing these all the songs we learned to sing when we were kids, but now we don't know anymore, so we'll just stop right now. That's all.
I'm just standing here because this is where the mic is. Bill's really going to speak first.
Uh-oh. Bill forgot his script, that's okay. So you know how we've kind of been saying this is going to be something different? You know how that magician kind of talked about how things change and we reimagine different ways of doing things and being? Is my mic on? Perfect, all right. So that's what we kind of want to do here is we want to have you help us with this reimagining. You know, the pandemic kind of told us we had to change. But we really have a choice. I might not be able to skate in a herd of buffalo, but I can be happy and I can design what I want for the future, and we as a congregation can do that. So we also, remember there was something really different about this service? We said you didn't have to turn these off. So if you have one of these and it's on, I'm actually encouraging you to turn these machines on. And then we're going to have a way that you can participate, much like a lot of the kids in university classrooms are. And there's a couple ways you could do that. If you have the ability to get one of those QR codes, on my iPhone, I do it by swiping down here, and I see this symbol. You may have a different way to do that, but if I get that, all I do is I point it to the strange box up there, and it takes me where I want to go. Or, if that doesn't work for you, you can go to www.menti.com, just type that in there, and then they'll ask you to put a code in there. And that's going to allow you to participate in a live poll. And those of you on Zoom can do the same thing. I think you have the ability to do that as well. But if for any reason, technology's like not your thing, you can do, well, we have another way. You'll be able to call some things out, and Lacey's going to try to capture those, or you can type them into Zoom, into the chat in Zoom if you need to. One way or another, we want you to participate if you can. Fair enough? So I'm there. Oh, okay. So it's definitely doable if Reverend Bill has gotten in.
Okay.
All right, Lacey, you have a first question?
All right, it's a practice. This is the most serious question. Where are you sitting?
Where are you sitting right now? Am I at home on Zoom? Am I in the Great Hall, which is out there? Am I with the choir? Okay.
Okay.
All right. So oh yeah, can we get back to the code?
Yes, we can go back to the,
Yeah. First off, how many people are in?
are you, yes.
Okay.
Who
How
is
many people
in?
are still trying to get in? Okay, good. So again, either you can use the QR code. If that doesn't work, you go to the website www.menti.com, and then you enter the code 16353970. Same. Sure. The website address is www.menti.com. And the code is 16353970. Okay? You're in? Okay. So we have most of us in. We're still getting a few more in. But while we do that, you can listen to me, and I'll just make some stuff up. It's happened before.
All right. Now you should see the next question.
Okay. If you haven't answered the question, where are you sitting right now, do so. I'm going to say I'm with the choir. And I submit. And looky there. Magically, our responses, you get that? Magically, our responses have come up there. We can see where we are. Okay? So the biggest group of that happens to be on the left side of the sanctuary, which makes sense to me. They look like the biggest people. Okay? Got it?
All right.
University kids do this all day long in their big classrooms. So, all right, so the next one. These are getting some of the more serious questions. Imagine that you could carry your favorite parts of worship with you throughout the week. What would they be? And here you can enter probably just a single word if you can, some aspect of worship. It could be the worship today, of worship every week, worship from your past. What's some aspect of worship that you wish were with you throughout the week?
Give us an example.
Well, maybe you like music. I don't want to lead you too much, but I got a lot of answers here. But so we're seeing some of these answers showing up, things that are community and music and connection and love and joy. And as you type in any more words, they're going to show up there. You can type up to 5. You can put up to 5 words in there.
The more responses that the word cloud gets, the bigger the word gets. So the things that you see the biggest on your screen are the things that the most people have put in. So right now, those look like those would be music, community, and connection. All right.
So lots of great things coming up there. We're going to capture this because part of this is that we are going to be reimagining worship moving forward. This is really part of a work project that I'm leading to try to help us think through what do we really want worship to look like going forward, both for those who worship in the sanctuary and Great Hall and those on Zoom. Okay? This will kind of culminate in a retreat we're going to do in a couple months. Next question. And this one's a little different. This one you get to rank 1 to 7. Give a rating. Imagine you could have more of something in worship experiences. How much more of the following would you like? And you can either go to the right, which means I want more, more, more. Or the left, like ones, would be less of these things. So visual arts, silence, prayer, contemplation, audio, video, music clips. We started integrating those in with Zoom largely. Rituals, movement, text, whether ancient or modern, music, calls to action, interactive experiences. So we're putting a 1 through 7 on each one of those. When you're done, you're going to put submit. And you can already see that we're starting to see, as a congregation, as a community, how we are scoring some of these. Interesting. Most of you, anyone who's not done yet? Okay? Give you a couple more seconds here because we want your feedback. For example, calls to action is showing up as the highest right now. Is that right?
Nope. It's
No,
up.
music is.
Yep.
Oh, that's a good thing. I'll sing you a song.
And then interactive experiences.
Interactive, that's an interesting one
Yep.
too. Great.
You realize you're having an interactive experience right now, right?
You are having an interactive experience. Okay, good, thank you. If it's not moved, I'm waiting for someone, so I'm
Yep.
refreshing.
I'm trying. I don't know. Hold on. Wait.
And hopefully all you on Zoom are
There we go.
part of this too. It looks like those are feeding in here also, which is great, thank you.
So our list was a short list. It was only 8 or 9 things because that's the only number of options we could put. So we have here a way for you to put in other things you might like that you didn't see on that list.
So this is open, you can just type in anything else you think would be helpful that you'd like to see happen in worship that you maybe didn't see there before. Something you remember or something you'd like to see more of. What would make this hour of a week even more special than it is? And again, whatever you type in there, just go ahead and submit it. And we see all those pop up here. I'll read a few of them. You want to read some of them, Lacey?
Yep. So outdoor worship, kids involved, that's 2. There were 2 of those. Potlucks coming back after the pandemic. Built-in time to talk with others doing worship. We had a couple that asked for guest speakers. And there was another sharing the meal. And there were a few here that were asking for more voices, whether or not that says like involving other voices, more involvement, guest speakers, personal narratives.
Great. So thank you for all those. Will they have the ability to continue to input on this even after the service?
Yes.
So,
This poll will be open for about 12 days after this. We'll send it out we'll go ahead and put it and the code in the announcements tomorrow. And then we have a final question for you that's kind of something that you can think about and enter at some point in time before you leave worship. But the whole survey will be available to you also.
so tell us your most positive worship experience at Heritage. And some of you, that's just today, because it's your first time here. That's fine. If you've been here for 35 years, or how many years, Joanne? 195 years? However many years, you'll think back of what was one of those magical moments somewhere in that 195 years, and maybe that'll show up for you. For me, it's when my dear friend, Catholic sister, Kathy Green, Kathy would remember her, stood right here and said, "Oh my gosh, I think I'm Unitarian." She's also no longer with us, but that's a special moment for me. So whatever those are, type those in there. And thank you for being part of this experience. Worship happens in amazing ways, even in fun. And what else do we say this is today, Bill? Fun in different ways. Thanks so much.
Janis Joplin's song, Mercedes-Benz, since it first was released. And I just love it. It's just a silly old song. So, I want you to sing it with me if you like. If you know the words, oh my goodness, join me. It doesn't matter. Don't worry if you sing off key, hit wrong notes. I know I'm not going to worry about that. And pay no attention to our choir director, who is shifting uncomfortably after hearing me say those words. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz? My friends all drive Porsches, I must make amends. Worked hard all my lifetime, no help from my friends. So Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz? Oh Lord, won't you buy me a color TV? Dialing $4 is trying to find me. I wait for delivery each day until 3. So Lord, won't you buy me a color TV? Oh Lord, won't you buy me a night on the town? I'm counting on you, Lord. Please don't let me down. Prove that you love me and buy the next rain. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a night on the town? Everybody, oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz? My friends all drive Porsches, I must make amends. Worked hard all my lifetime, no help from my friends. So Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz?
Thank you, Steph, channeling Janis Joplin. I want to talk to Joanne a second. You never told me you were a founding member of First Universalist Society of Cincinnati, but thanks for still being here. Thank you all for still being here. We've been here an hour. Those of you that like to look at the clock, we're not even close to through. If we're going to have chicken soup for the soul, as a 39-year vegetarian, I'd also like a serving of miso soup for the soul, please. So this next story features animals. No animals were harmed doing this. And no, it's not a cute kitty or cuddly puppy story. It's about magpies. And it's on that page. So this story was actually in the news on Friday. And perhaps the moral of the story is that we only need to know where to look no matter what day to find some cheerful news. Some news that might even have a little bit of metaphorical significance for us amid all the other news of our week. You may or may not be aware that birds are among the most intelligent creatures on the planet. And magpies, it seems, are sort of the Einsteins among the birds. They are one of the few non-mammal species that can recognize themselves in a mirror. They're known tool users. They can play elaborate jokes on their peers. And they have strong social cooperation. It is that latter skill, along with some pretty dazzling cognitive skills, that made the news this week. Magpies live in social units of up to a dozen individuals, kind of like those rings that Bill was showing us. Social units with clearly defined social roles. Enter some human scientists who want to study them and track one group of magpies to monitor their movements and behavior. The scientists had created an elaborate little device that they would put on each magpie that would record everything the magpie did and where the critters went and so on. But the magpies would have none of it. Within 10 minutes of fitting a specially designed harness tracker onto the first magpie, one of the younger birds in the group, the human researchers were astounded to see that an adult female, not even the mother of the bird in question, had gone over to that young bird and figured out how to free it from its harness. Like a computer hacker with wings, the magpie in question poked and prodded at the device until it found the weakest point in its design, the Achilles heel, if you will, the back door of the harness, and snapped. The young bird was free. But this was not a one-and-done type thing. The other magpies were watching and learned quickly. So try as they might, the human beings, who had spent weeks and countless hours, not to mention probably Lord only knows how much grant money, designing these harnesses and monitoring system, simply could not keep the devices on the magpies. As soon as a couple of birds were back together again in their social group, they would cooperate and remove the harnesses from one another, leaving a little trail of metal devices all over the place. Maybe there's another lesson to be learned here, a lesson about one group of highly motivated, cooperating creatures who refuse to be subjugated to the whims of another group that is stronger, better resourced, and at least on paper, apparently dominant. As the saying goes, may it be so.
Candles of Community, our weekly ritual of lighting candles to honor special joys and sorrows in the lives of members and friends of Heritage, strengthens our community through shared pain and shared joy. We each hold the sorrows in our hearts to help carry the burden, and we share the joys with celebration. A weekly invitation is sent via our email list to send a joy or sorrow to share. I'm going to first read those that were sent in and then share any that were added to our book today, and Reverend Bill will light a candle for each of those. And we light one final candle for all of the joys and sorrows that we hold in our hearts but remain unspoken.
We've shared our joys and sorrows, and we've held one another in our hearts. Now let's honor that sharing with a brief time of silence together. may we honor the spirit of life in each and in all. Amen. Perhaps you're familiar with the stone soup story, a European folk tale about sharing in which hungry visitors to a town convince everyone to share a few morsels of food to create a delicious soup that all can enjoy. My final soup story this morning is a video that has had more than 28 million views since it was posted 7 years ago. The group that did this is called betterplace.org, and their website says, "We are a community that creates more humanity through good deeds in our daily lives. Through small acts, we not only make people happy, but also create a positive experience. It doesn't matter where you come from, how old you are, or what religion you belong to. No single person can make the world a better place, but the sum of our many individual acts has the power to set the wheels in motion." I hope that you will find this video as inspiring as I do.
Entschuldigung, darf ich dich kurz stören? Ich würde mir gerne mal deine Eimer leihen, wäre das möglich?
Mein Eimer.
Ja, ein bisschen drauf spielen.
Spielen mit meinem Eimer.
Ja. Ein bisschen Musik machen. Cool, danke.
Geil, nicht schlecht.
Ja? Probieren wir noch mal was anderes.
Some usual day, everything seems okay. Lights in the mirror are perfect for work. Your headphones are like a shield to the silence. But what would be if you had taken a look? Oh, another chance to change is gone. There will be new ones, but first you have to find them. This is the day, don't look away from the wings of humanity today. This is life, 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 life is too short to waste a chance. Every evening you're watching TV, there's another misery. Only pictures and numbers you see, if you don't mind. Every day, close your eyes and go to bed. But what would be if you had taken a look? Oh, another chance to change is gone. There will be new ones, but first you have to find them. This is the day, don't look away from the wings of humanity today. 'Cause this life, 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 life is too short to waste a chance.
Danke für den Eimer. Schönen Tag dir noch. Ciao.
Life is too short to wait. Music, compassion, humanity, spreading joy and love one act at a time. Love. May it be so. So if you were here in the sanctuary last Sunday, you were here for when we first started holding hands again for the benediction, those who are comfortable doing so. So here's your options. We hold hands for the benediction like the pre-pandemic days, or if you're not quite there yet, you do like we were doing during COVID. Listen to me using past tense. Like we still are doing during COVID, with our hands up like this. So you choose. We got about 275 degrees of a circle going last week. There's a lot more people here now. I think we can get all the way around the sanctuary. May the Spirit of life,
may the Spirit of life
that each of us possesses,
flow
from one to the other, And bring us peace and harmony. Until we meet again. Amen.
No offense, but this is what I do.